Okay, my beans and chili are ready, so now it's time to make the flour tortillas. And it's a lot easier than what you'd think. So you start off with 4 cups of flour, and I've already got it here in the bowl. And then you add in 2 teaspoons of salt. And I'm going to go ahead and stir that in. And then you add in 6 tablespoons of shortening, like Crisco or something similar. And you just cut it in. You can cut it in with a fork or a knife or anything like that. So I'm making a mess here. But once you get all that in, you add a cup and 1/4 of water, lukewarm water, because the warm water sort of melts the Crisco and you get a really good dough. Okay, so now I'm going to add the water. And you stir this until it's all blended. The dough should pull away from the sides of the bowl. So after the initial mixing, I like to get in and use my hands. Make sure you wash them. I just washed mine. Okay. So now I'm going to knead the dough a little bit. And since I have granite countertops, I'm actually going to knead it on the counter. But I'm just making sure all of the extra flour is in here. And the heat of your hands will also help things stay. So I'm going to take a little flour, throw it on the counter here. Dump my dough out. And then you knead it 20 times. So you'll see it really starting to come together once that Crisco starts to melt. And if it seems a little too dry, you can always add a little bit more water, which I'm going to do. So once that's done, then you take it, and depending on what size tortillas you want, you roll it up into balls. If you're going to spend that much time making chili and beans, take the time to make the homemade tortillas. So now you're just going to let them sit for 15 minutes. And once they sit, then we'll roll them out. Okay, so while these are resting, I'm going to put together a quick salad. So I already prepped and washed some leafy spinach, so that goes in the salad, and then some romaine lettuce. I'm just gonna break up. And then mix that well. Then I made some, or actually prepared some cucumber and tomatoes. And you can top it with whatever dressing you like, but it's just a simple house salad to go with all the richness of the meal. Alright, so now we're ready to roll out the dough. So I'm just going to check it and make sure it's ready and it feels like it. So get your rolling pin and you just start to roll. I like mine a little thick. So I won't roll it out as thin as you would see from the store. And also don't worry about getting the edges perfect and round. You want it to look homemade. Okay, so once you get it rolled out to your desired thickness, then you take it over to the skillet and cook it. So I'm going to finish rolling these out. And if you don't want to cook them all at once, just wrap them in a plastic wrap and they will stay in the fridge for a few days. So I'm going to roll up just 3 more of these and then I'm going to save the rest for later, because I don't need to cook all of them tonight. So I have my skillet on medium heat, and I'm just going to take one of the tortillas and cook it. And it does not take long. Once you see it kind of bubbling up, you flip it. You don't want to cook it too much because if it's hard, then you can't roll the burrito. So that's about how you want it. You'll see a little bit of brown where it cooked. So the first tortilla is done. Now I'm putting on the second one. And the consistency of the chili after it's finished is like that. It's thick, still a little juicy, but it's good for burrito consistency. And then the beans, I ended up having to add more water as it cooked. But that should be your consistency for the beans. You don't want those watery either. But that's what happens when you don't soak them before. It really makes it thick like that. When you see that tortilla bubble up like this, that's when you know it's time to turn it. The last one for the night. And remember, you do not have to oil the pan because the Crisco in the flour tortillas keeps it from sticking. And you don't want your tortilla to come out oily. Okay, so now we're ready to put our plate together. And I have my flour tortilla. So I'll put the beans first. And you know, you will have plenty of leftovers, but the great thing about chili and beans is you can do all sorts of stuff with it. You can reheat this with cornbread. You can make tacos from this chili. You can make cornbread with it and just have a big bowl of it. It really, you can make several meals out of it. So these burritos are meant to be very simple because they are very flavorful. So that's all you put in them. And then you roll it up. Alright, then we'll do some salad. And then put a little guacamole on the plate. And then you've got your chips. But voila! Chili burrito, guacamole, and a house salad. Yummy.